too far, and then it comes back up to actually create that sound again, out of phase, and then it comes back down, and then it comes back up again. So this is going to sound, if you were able to listen at 5 milliseconds stretched out, it would sound like the sound is hitting, and then it's like coming back, and then it's like coming back again. And it's just something you don't want. It's not desirable whatsoever. Maybe someone might like this being present as just like a fun coloration thing, but in general, this is bad. So you can see over here, when this kind of just fades away, especially these ones that fade away super quick, that's awesome. And it's easy to do with treble. When you have bass though, especially if you're in like a closed environment, it's really hard to keep it from booming and bouncing around because the wavelength of the waves is just so big. So now we're going to talk about what you're going to be able to listen to, and you guys are going to be able to come down and listen to it. So these are the GR07s. You're going to notice that if you listen to them, they're warmer. The mids are in the front. The vocals are a little recessed, and the bass is really tight. The TT Pod T1, also down there, red, and slightly see-through. The treble rolls off really, really fast, and you lose the entire, probably 2 or 3 octaves that are up on top. You basically lose them, throw them out the window. You don't need them, you have vocals, it doesn't matter. These are really cool and awesome, and they have a really weird but good sound signature. Some of you I've recommended these headphones to. Hopefully you have purchased
Don't
ones.
stay in my ears.
They what?
They don't stay in.
Really?
Fall out.
Interesting. But you can send them back if you want. But you can use different tips. Some of the tips that they come with were garbage, but some of them were alright.
Yeah.
Or you can buy like good ones for like $10. These have 2 drivers, and they're really cool. Mad Dogs, good isolation. Mids are super awesome. Get super loud without having to distort at all. Like these, have been described as they just don't quit. You can throw a ton of power into these, and they just don't matter. They're just going to reproduce it really well. They do a really great job with that. They're planar magnetic. They're one of the smallest planar magnetic drivers you can get on the market at 30 millimeters. Here are the Hi-Fi Min HE400Is. These are my favorites. They're planar magnetics, which means they have that linear bass response. They're very versatile, accurate. They do the same things that the Sennheiser HD600s do, which are headphones that I talked about, and they do them better, in my opinion. So that's it. Sorry for the longer talk than we usually have, but hopefully now it'll be worth it because you can come down and listen. Any questions? Seven.
Touch on the difference between like headphone impedances, like what that affects.
Sure. So different impedance headphones. Something like these are 32-ish. These are 50. These are 32. These are 40-something. These are 12, which is super low. It affects the amount of power you have to put into the speaker, generally, to get what you want out of it as far as volume. However, you also deal with things like sensitivity, which is a measurement of how much the speaker can actually do based off of the size of the driver or quality of the driver, material of the driver. And when you combine those measurements, you can actually tell how efficient a speaker is, or a speaker system. So something like this, where there's a lot of sound leaking out this way, it's not particularly efficient because a lot of that's getting lost. But on the other hand, it just so happens that they did a really good job of designing it so that the 32 ohm resistance would actually deliver a lot of that to your ears, even though it's still open. So these are generally considered to be pretty efficient over-the-ear headphones with a sensitivity rating of 93 decibels. It's like 93 decibels per volt. It's some crazy measurement I don't pretend to know.
Okay. So if I bought, you mentioned there's a 250 ohm headphone presentation. If I bought that and put it in my phone, would it be very quiet?
It would be quiet. Yeah, you would want something like this, or this to be able to drive it. Generally, amplifiers will go up to 300 ohms almost all the time, where it's like if you buy a discrete amplifier, it will always work up for that. Some headphones go up to 600. I don't know of any that go over that, but except for electrostatics, which needs like a very specific paired amplifier. So if you buy those, you buy with them. But these will go up to 300 ohms and probably higher, to be honest. You don't need a lot of amplitude to actually get it going.
Yeah, actually, the ones that you're talking about, the 250 ones, the
Yeah.
D770s, and like you can plug it with your iPhone, it's like turbo battery, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Thanks.
So like, you plug this to your computer, how does it improve the sound? Like, does it just filter out like garbage and like boost, or like, so what is it actually doing?
Sure.
The DAC?
So the DAC is actually changing the, so normally in your computer, in your laptop, you have a 3.5 millimeter audio out. That is actually an analog signal that your computer is creating from your digital file. And when it's creating that, it's using whatever chip it's been given, which is usually lower quality, just to save money because it only has to work for the average person or some of the time. Whereas you heard in this room, some people don't actually care about it at all. So that kind of thing is what's put inside of your phone or your computer. Phones are a lot better, laptops okay, and then because you're going to be portable use, and people can say, oh, maybe you're using headphones. But if you buy a desktop computer, it's an absolute joke what gets put into them. Even high-end components, where they're like, oh, Sound Blaster Extreme, it's still crap. Because it's on the same PCB almost all the time. And when you put things on the same PCB, as you guys know as electrical engineers, you get a ton of interference back and forth, especially when you're dealing with, like, for example, my video card will overclock to like this voltage that is just huge. It's like 1.35 volts instead of what it's supposed to be at like under 1 volt. And it creates so much noise inside of my computer. It's like disgusting to be able to like plug something in. When I plugged in the deck similar to this one that I tried before I bought, it was like night and day because of how much less crap there was going on. So it sends the signal out from the computer digitally, so you can't interfere with it. Because
So it's like connected to like USB?
right, exactly. It's connected
I was
to your
thinking
USB.
it's like going to use the audio jack,